On this day, October 9, 1828, Morazán makes federal troops capitulate. On October 9, 1828, in the morning hours, and in the hacienda of San Antonio in Salvadoran territory, General Francisco Morazán had a large army corps capitulated sent against El Salvador by the President of the Federation, General Manuel José Arce. After Gualcho's victory, the federal armies besieging San Salvador sent a large contingent commanded by Brigadier Manuel Arzú to stop Morazán's safe attack on the besiege of the Salvadoran capital, having defeated Vicente Domínguez. As Morazán needed to resupply and acquire more troops, he turned to Honduras while Brigadier Arzú took possession of San Miguel. While continuing the siege of San Salvador, where General Juan Prim kept at bay the federal armies led by Colonel Manuel Montúfar. In September 1828, Morazán sent Colonel José Antonio Márquez to the Salvadoran border with 400 men from Comayagua, and at the same time he left Tegucigalpa with 1,200 soldiers. Both contingents met in Guascorán, penetrated into El Salvadoran territory, and headed over San Miguel to give battle to Brigadier Arzú. He avoided combat, evacuated San Miguel, and attempted to retreat to Guatemala through the departments of Usulután and Gracias. Morazán with his army followed him and closed the passage into the plain of La Pava on October 8 and had with the federal vanguards a clash of 3/4 of an hour, after which both belligerents took position to resume the action the next day. Already at this time Brigadier Arzú had handed over the command of the troops to Lieutenant Colonel Antonio de Aycena, who resolved to capitulate without imposing any conditions. Morazán, however, allowed the chief to keep 100 rifles without 30 rounds each. He released soldiers, chiefs, and officers, allowing them to return to Guatemala through the Department of Gracias, and gave the defeated chief 3,000 pesos to pay for the subsistence of his subordinates on the return journey. Great bitterness was experienced by the victorious chief when he learned that the defeated committed atrocities in his path and even produces a death, a circumstance for which he ordered the commander of Ocotepeque to capture the chiefs responsible. For such an even-handed and just attitude, General Morazán has been criticized by his enemies who have not taken into account the generosity he had with those who had surrendered to him without conditions. With the capitulation of San Antonio, Morazán had cleared the way of San Salvador, city to whose liberation he had contributed with 2 memorable actions, and opened the doors of immortality and glory. Then came the Allied Law Enforcement Army and the overthrow of arbitrary governments and Guatemala's illegitimate state authorities. This was a day in the history of Honduras.